Looks like we are online now, and I'm just going to give it an extra second to make sure that it actually gets fully connected, and it looks okay. Okay, so hey, good morning everybody, or actually good afternoon, sorry. It is episode 162 of Time Out Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are enjoying watching these videos, and I appreciate that very much, please always comment or like or send those things flying above the screen. That lets me know that you're watching or that you've seen the video. If you're watching the recorded version, that's great too. Either way, I appreciate comments. Anything you want to tell me, anything you like or dislike, it's fine. Bring it on. I've been doing these videos for 162 weeks, and I'm just going to plan on keep doing them until someone tells me otherwise. So, today's video is I'm going to start off with a story, actually, that not a very long and elaborate story, but a story nonetheless. When I first was training in martial arts seriously, which was the second time that I tried to train in martial arts. So when I first started in college, I started taking some martial arts courses when I was about 18 years old, and did it for about a year in college. Then tried another organization in college, excuse me, for a very short period of time. These were like kind of like clubs in the college I went to, and so I joined them. And for as long as either my friends or I were interested in that club, or as long as the club existed or actually trained, I would go. But I wasn't really ingrained in any particular style. I didn't really know very much about the martial arts. I just knew that it was always something that I was interested in. Really not always, but actually since the Karate Kid came out in the mid 80s. That's what sparked my interest, like many people my age. And when I was approximately 20 years old or so, I joined a school. I had just graduated from college, so I guess I was about 21 at the time. I had just graduated. I was still living up in Albany where I went to school, and I joined a school that I then attended for quite a few years. And that was really my first experience with training through many belts in a particular system with a great instructor, Sensei Michael Betcher. And it really definitely sparked my interest, and that interest obviously has lived on for quite a few decades at this point. But when I was training there, when I was approximately a middle level belt, I think around a blue belt, and that system was a middle belt, I had come to class one day, and I walked in, and my teacher said, "Hey, would you do me a favor? The kids' class is coming in. I got to take care of something. Could you warm them up?" Now, I had never, ever been in front of a group of people before doing any kind of martial arts other than my own training. Never taught a class. No one ever asked me to teach a class. I certainly didn't even think I was qualified to teach anything. But my instructor asked me. I jumped up in front of the class. Excuse me. Excuse me, I have something caught in my throat. Good timing, right? My instructor asked me to do it, so I jumped up. I did the lesson, and that was really a life-changing event. From that minute forward, any opportunity I had to get up in front and share something that I knew, something that I felt I understood, was good at, in some cases something that I just learned that I was really excited about, as soon as I was able to do that and share that with a group of people, I got very excited, and I wound up volunteering to teach anytime I possibly could. Really, no one ever asked me ever again to teach. Once I kind of got that first taste, I was always walking into the dojo saying, "Hey, you want me to warm up that group? You want me to teach that class? I'll be happy to do that." I got really excited about it, and that concept sort of lived on with me forever. When I came down to New York and I wound up attending different schools, obviously, over the course of the years. In each school that I attended, I always gravitated very quickly towards a teaching role. As soon as the instructor recognized that I was able to demonstrate and guide people, they let me do it, and that basically really paved the way over the course of a few decades to where I am now, which is doing the thing that I love, which is teaching martial arts. And over the course of the last, I don't know, about 15 years or so, my whole thought process on teaching martial arts has changed dramatically. When I first started in this particular system, there was a thought that at a certain level you had to teach in order to get promoted, and it was also an assumption that at a certain level you'd want to teach. And it became very difficult for some of us at the senior level to understand why somebody who had achieved a certain rank wouldn't want to be up in front of students and sharing what they knew. In my opinion, but this was a personal philosophy, was that one of the basic tenets of the martial arts is to share and pay it forward and make sure that we're delivering the content of this system to future generations. This is not stuff that you pass on in books, but it's stuff that you pass on through hands-on guidance, correction, teaching, inspiration. Then I got a chance to watch some people that were thrust into a teaching role teach. And it became incredibly evident that they didn't really enjoy teaching, but yet they were being asked to teach. And the result was poor classes. The students could tell that the teacher wasn't engaged. The teacher wasn't engaged on a level where they were trying to be creative and come up with new and exciting ways of teaching something, and they weren't enthusiastic, and that was just clearly being passed on into the classes, and it was to an extent toxic. So my mindset changed, and one of the things that I came to the realization was that while I do believe it's one of the basic tenets of the martial arts for teachers to develop from being a student to a teacher and to then pass on that knowledge, that's not for everybody, and that's not the reason why everybody comes to the martial arts. And whereas there's a lot of benefits in the martial arts, from fitness to confidence to the ability to defend yourself, to being able to teach and pass on an art, to being able to become a master of an art, to all of these massive benefits, not everybody will benefit from the entirety of the experience. Some people will benefit just from the self-defense and the fitness. Other people will really gravitate towards the artistic side or to the weapon side or something else. And once I realized that, I took a look at how I evolved into being a teacher. And I realized that it was mostly organic. With the exception of that one instructor asking me to teach that first class, everything else, all the way up to this day, was organic. I enjoyed doing it, which made me want to do it, which made me want to do it well, which made me want to think about it, whether I was doing it or not, so that when I did get back to doing it, I would do it even better. It would cause me to rethink what I did during the day to determine what worked, what didn't work, what was just awful, what I tried that was a total failure, what was a major success, how to do more of the successes, less of the failures. And it occurred to me that I need to watch for those coming in behind me in rank that want to teach, and to seek them out and give them that first opening, just like my teacher did, to see if they can blossom into an instructor. And I have to say that over the last 3 or 4 years in particular, doing that has just been a phenomenal experience. The students that have been with us for a very long time, from the time they were 4, 5, and 6 years old, that are now in their teens, have developed, in some cases, not all, into being fantastic teachers. That's not to say that those that decided that they didn't want to teach are not amazing martial artists and amazing students, but watching certain students kind of gravitate into a leadership role when asked to teach, were enthusiastic, got up there, and then actually came back and asked to teach more, were the students that became earmarked for assisting with different events, with helping us organize classes, and then slowly they became the same students that we would put with a group of students and say, hey, guide that group for a couple of minutes while I go over here and do something. And when I came back and that group was doing really well, it started becoming evident that that person was someone that would want to continue teaching. And those are the students that we continued to cultivate all the way to the point where when they became a certain age and were able to start working papers, working legally, we continued to cultivate them into their first job, and we've wound up seeing several of our students who have been teaching now for 3 or 4 years, getting ready to go to college, and it's developed into sort of this ongoing mentoring program where we cultivate the younger students that seem interested in teaching, that are skilled martial artists, that are obviously working towards improving their craft, and cultivating them to the point where we can get them actually having their first job. And it's a great first job because they wind up doing something that they really love. They teach something that improves their own skill, and it's one of the things that I think is really unique about our culture at the school, which is there is a culture of teaching, and we see it permeate all the way down to the younger students. I get videos sent to me on a periodic basis where siblings are videotaped teaching each other things that they learned in class. Sometimes they're actually playing dojo where there's one instructor and one student. Sometimes it's just actually training and learning from one another. And we think it's really wonderful. We're excited about this culture of teaching. I'm excited when I find somebody in the school that really seems like they're going to be a amazing teacher, and we begin that process of developing them into one of our instructors. And it's very exciting, and I'm excited to be able to provide somebody with a first work experience that will be something that not only will they remember for a lifetime, but the students that they taught will remember them for their lifetime. So that's it. Culture of teaching and Millennium Martial Arts, very important to me. Wow, long video. I didn't realize I was speaking for so long, but I guess it's something that I'm very passionate about. And I hope to see everybody at the dojo this week. We have a test coming up in a couple of days, actually about a week from now, a week and a half from now. And we have a black belt exam coming up in March, so we have a lot of busy things happening. I'm optimistic that the pandemic is possibly moving in a more positive direction so that we'll begin to resume some more normal operations. But regardless of that, I'm hoping for nice weather so we get back out there and do some more outdoor classes, which I love doing whether we're in the middle of a pandemic or not. So with that said, peace to everybody. See you at the dojo.